Hello learners, welcome to TryWrite. Today we will be learning about the concurrency and multithreading. Here we will be first learning about the threads and the runnable interface. So coming here, we have the concurrency, multiple tasks making progress at the same time. So we have the concurrency, that is the multiple classes when they will make progress at the same time. And multithreading, it refers to Java mechanism for concurrent executions. We have multiple classes which need to be performed, and one task can intervene into other tasks, and similarly other can intervene into other. This helps us in multi-threading. This is called multi-threading. And so Java mechanism so it's allow Java for mechanism for concurrent executions. Now what are the benefits? For better CPU utilization, we use this concurrency and multi-threading. Yeah, for better CPU utilizations, for responsive in GUIs and networks app. So yeah, for we have talked about this as responsiveness in GUI that sets the dynamic property of the different apps, and the network apps that will provide dependency on one to other, and the efficient use of resources. For the efficient use of resources, we require multi-threading, and for that we can also follow for concurrency depending upon one another. Now suppose for example we have a game downloading files, for we have the game downloading files. So for performance of particular task, we need to require other tasks. And for playing a music player, we can require different musics and players and different kind of music. And for making other libraries also, we require different kind of music and files. For this we have the dependency, and for that we have the multitasking property. This is just the multitasking property. Now coming to the thread class and life cycle. Thread class, they are downloaded from java.lag.thread classes. They are imported from java.lag.thread classes, and it states the state of threads are the state. We have a state for the state of threads. For there we have the first thread, that is a new thread, and when it is run to the runnable form, and after that runnable form, and when we start it, it comes to the running form. And now when it's come to running, you can either, if you wish, like you can get them blocked or waiting, keep them in blocked condition, or keep them in waiting. For suppose we want to keep the other program work first. For that we have to block the particular class, and waiting for the classes that time intervened only. And when the whole task is performed, then the termination of the class is over. Termination of class took place. Yeah. Now coming to the main class, mythread, which extends this class mythread. This is a class mythread, it is extending thread class, that is acquiring all the properties of this thread class. Yeah. Now we have the run. We have the run method here. Run method. Yeah, run. And now which has the printing line as system.out println thread is running. The thread is running. Yeah, the thread is running here. And secondly, we have the static main method line, public static void main string args, and we have to create a object of that thread, multithread t is the name of the object. Yeah, with the new keyword and mythread, that is a class. Yeah. Now if you want to start, we need to put that object into start form. T.start, T.starts here, T.starts. That will call the run. This will call the running function. When it started, the thread will call the methods in that class, respective class. Yeah. Now coming further, the starts the new thread, that is run, does not close, does not run. It will start a new thread. They are functioning of a new class. Then the run method does not function at that time, but when put to running form. But we will study that later. While performing here, we will be coming out to using the runnable interface. Interface is one method, and public void run, which has the public void run, which has the run, and it will call the class to the runnable form, and allows the class to extend other class. It will allow the class to extend other class for its running purposes and all. Yeah, it will allow the class to extend other class for multiple inheritance, or running of the different classes for multiple inheritance issue. Multiple inheritance issues are avoided here. Yeah. And now my class, now public class, my runnable. This is a new class, my runnable, this is implementing the runnable, which is implementing the runnable class, and public void run. This has the method run, which is printing runnable thread is running. Now when it is put to run, the runnable thread starts running. In the beginning we will starting with the start method, and now it has the run method, and it will be thread is not, it will make the thread to run, and the runnable thread is running. It will state that runnable thread is running. Now when we have started the thread, we need to again initialize the public uh, main method of the main method line, that public static void main string args, and we have the R called the object of that my runnable class, and followed by the new method, new keyword, and this runnable which was the class my runnable. Now with the help of thread thread T, which was the object of the thread form, and with the help of new thread. Now we will be forming this new thread R as a new thread. Now we started the thread. Now we started a new class R, my renewable class. Now we will performing this, performing the task on it. So we will writing thread.t. This is a new thread, so we will be writing thread.t equals new thread, and we'll passing R, which is the running class, running purpose at the time. So again, the start function will start the thread. So t dot thread. When we have put that into function, we will start that by writing t dot thread. Recommends approach in professional development. This is recommended approach, which is usually performed in professional development. Yeah. Now compare comparison between the threads and runnables. Thread and the thread class. The thread class cannot extend over other classes. It cannot extend over other classes, means it does not. It depends upon its own properties and all the classes that all the things that belongs to its own class. It does not extend other classes. It does not acquire the properties and does not depend on other classes. The runnable class cannot implement other classes. It cannot the runnable where the runnable class in comparison inheritance, that is acquiring the inheritance. The thread class cannot the thread class extend other classes. The thread class cannot extend other classes. The thread class cannot extend other classes. And runnable interface can implement other classes. Runnable interface can implement other classes and form its own executions, form the total executions. And now flexible coming to the flexibility. The thread class is less flexible because it cannot extend other classes, so it's less flexible. All the dependency form cannot be performed here, and enable is more flexible. Why? Because it cannot implement other in other it cannot implement. Yeah yeah Now aspect. Now coming up to the reusability. Sorry. Now coming up to the reusability. This thread class not reusable across threads. These thread classes are not reusable across threads. These thread classes are not reusable across threads. While the runnable classes can be used, And now coming to the thread methods. Now we will come forward to the next thread methods. Yeah. There are different methods that a thread performs, such as start. It starts the thread execution. Start when we put this thread to start, it will start the thread execution. And when we put the thread to run method, the actual logical inside the thread that will start running. The actual logic inside the thread that this will start to run from. And when we put sleep, that is in milliseconds. That is provided in milliseconds. When we will put them to sleep, the pause there will be a temporary pause on the thread that will be acquired according to the millisecond we provided there. That will be paused for the millisecond times. And when we put the join method there, the wait for the method to die. It is waiting for the join. It is waiting for a method to die for the current working or executing method to die until the execution dies. That cannot be joined by other threads. Is alive. Is alive is a method which checks the running of the thread. The thread is running or not. Is alive. It checks for that. The thread is working or not. And is priority. Is priority. This sets the priority. For suppose we have the 10 threads. So it will check the priority from 1 to 10, whichever will come first or marked according to that. All the priority will be executed. And now you will see all the executions here. Yeah. Now suppose for the thread T1 is object form with the help of this new thread. Yeah. T1 is the object form, and there is a try block. Try block is it complies that thread is sleeping. Thread is sleeping for 1000 milliseconds. The thread will sleep for 1000 milliseconds here. When you provide the sleeping function, it will it will sleep for required time here applied 1000 milliseconds. So it will sleep for 1000 seconds. Now there is a cache block. Following the try block, there is a cache block. Interrupted execution. Suppose there is an interruption in the executions. So this will check for the interruption in the execution and and there will be printed line will be printed hello from lambda threads. From lambda thread, the lambda execution will take place and it will be executed according to that. And if the section is found, these lines will be printed that hello from lambda thread. The execution is taking interrupted because of this thread. So T1 dot start, when we apply T1 dot start, when we apply this T1 object to start, T1 object dot start, and for the thread to come in the running form. Yeah, when thread will start, then only all this execution will take place. Now demo creating multiple threads. Now suppose there is multiple thread forms. Now we are having a lookout of all those things. Classes my task implements the runnable form. This task is that my task implements, this will implement the runnable form of the class and the private string name, which has the field property as private string name, which has the field property as private string name, and my task string name is the another constructor which is having the parameters and my task string name. Yeah, my task was a class. My task was a class which were implementing runnable, and it has other constructor as my task only, and it has a parameter as string name. And this name dot name, we will assign the name by the name which will be giving here. This name dot name, and when we put to run the start will the thread will come in the runnable form. And for that we have the for loop conditions. We will be initializing at int I equals 1, I less than equal to 5, and I plus plus. That this run will execute up till 5 times, and for that it will printing the name. It will be printing the name plus count and number of, and it will perform the counting also. And for that it will and plus counting, and that will followed by the I variable number of time that execution will take according to that only. Yeah, coming further, we have the public class demo. Here it is the demo. It is the demo class. It is the demo class which has a main method line public static void main string args, and which has the thread T1. Now we have the thread T1 as new thread. T1 as a new thread and new task T1. T1 is the object of the new thread and the new task A. Suppose we are passing A as a new task there. Suppose we are passing A first names we have to pass in our own way. So we'll be passing here name as A. Now we have the second thread T2. T2 equals new thread. T2 new thread, and the task here is B. Task we are passing the name B. Yeah, B. And so when we'll put this thread to start, T1 dot start and T2 dot start. So again, after passing all the names and all, you are bringing the thread to start. And finally coming up to this, finally coming to the conclusion, we have the concluding part also, that always there runnable or scalability. Always use runnable or scalability for the threads to be coming to the start and execution of the particular programs. We should always put them to runnable, and for that we should require to check for the scalability, if the runnable form is scalable or not. And thread is useful to quick or simple tasks. And coming further, we have the thread. You have to find out the thread is quick. If the thread is performing each and every task, executing each and everything at a particular time or not, and that if the task is simple or not. For the thread, for that we will have to check that thread is useful for quick, or this task or the simple task or not. Now coming up to multi-threading. Now coming up further, multi-threading can improve performance but requires careful management. For this, we know that multi-threading can improve performance, because depending upon one another and performing more than one threads, it can help in improving performance and require careful management, because without managing we cannot go from one thread to another. So this brings us to the end of this class, and so thank you. We'll meet in the next class.